Um, Welcome to another episode of Landell's Pod. I've been going for so long, I almost forgot the name of my podcast. Um, but I'm probably going to be doing more podcasts, you know, sharing my thoughts. I'm thinking about moving it over to, maybe YouTube or something like that where you know, I can get a visual. Y'all can get a visual on it. Y'all can see, you know, Landell in his pod, visually or whatever, instead of just hearing me through the audio. A lot of things have happened. I can't tell you the last time I did a podcast. I do not know. But I'm back in a situation where a lot of stuff had happened, life-wise. And if I decide, it may be one day that I decide to get on here and, share, my process, or share the journey, share part of the journey, and say, hey, this had been going on, this was going on, that was going on, you know what I mean? And, most definitely driving. These roads are bad. So, but most definitely, it might be one day that I decide to get on here and like, hey, um, yeah, I want to just share my journey with you guys and blah 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 blah, right? But as a man, I feel like the man who I am, and I feel like it's something that God is like working on, honestly and truly, it's my pride. Um, I feel like off top initially, and it's weird with my pride because I feel like off top initially, you won't, you won't, I probably don't strike you as the most prideful guy, but it's certain things in my life that I've been realizing that, you know what I mean, that I'm coming across, that I'm learning about myself, and it's crazy. Like, oh, you're 30 something years old and you still, you know, you're learning about yourself. I feel like you kind of don't never stop learning about yourself. So with that being said, I feel like, it's things that's like, man, like, I'm learning about myself. And as far as pride goes, it's like, damn, bro, like it doesn't stand out in every area or every facet, but it stands out in, like, you know, certain scenarios, certain situations, pride wise. And it's like, bro, like, that's pride. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get better at that. You gotta improve. You know what I mean? So maybe one day I'll drop I'll drop my pride, enough to where I can, you know, share my story in more detail with you guys. Until then, guess what? We have another episode about relationships. Alright. Hopefully ain't nobody click off yet. But it's gonna be brief. It's not gonna be long. I don't even think. Sometimes, usually the podcasts go about to 30 minutes. Sometimes, like some of the better ones, they go like, anywhere past 15 minutes to 30 to 40 minutes sometimes. So I don't think it's gonna be that long. I can drag it on, but I'm just gonna kind of share a major key point that I feel like I've learned at this point, and that's what it's about, right? It's about, us learning and trying to implement the things that we've learned, right? And share the knowledge and sharing the knowledge, and I feel like that's important. So just real quick, on a quick note, I just want everybody to, like, everybody who hear this, everybody who listening, like, I think I did a podcast. One of the last podcasts I did was like, the new theory on dating, and it was like some stuff like women are like they're assassins and we're just here to like, you know, serve them or something like that. It was some wild stuff. You know what I mean? It was like, well, women are here. They're here to test our love, test our patience, test us, basically test us out in every way that they possibly can. And as far as men go, you know, we're the ones who are tested and, you know, have to display that love, that patience, that level of understanding, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But so rather, you know, it could be some truth to that. But I'll just say this on relationships, because you still say that, and I kind of want to get this out of the way going into 2024. But relationships are a huge part of life. A very, 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 very huge part of life. Everybody, I feel like, wants somebody. Everybody, you know, wants some type of companionship, somebody to love them, somebody to love on them and make them feel special and compliment them and give them, you know, shower them with love and gifts and, you know, just affirmations and whatever it is, right? You know, so and you know, everybody wants somebody to be, you know, everybody wants somebody to have as a good friend, and, you know, so forth and so on, right? So for me, the main thing that what I've learned up until this point, it clicked for me one day. I probably was watching one of these videos, one of these YouTube shorts, one of these Instagram reels, whatever it was, right? And somebody was saying something about a relationship, and it clicked to me. And I was like, the thing about relationships these days, it's no God. It's simple. And I had this discussion with a friend of mine. It's no God. God does not exist in modern day relationships. 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10. You get what I'm saying? Most times, most relationships that you hear about, like, you look on the podcast, you listen at what they're saying, you know, you listen to the audio clip, you listen at what they're saying. 9 times out of 10, more time than not, most likely, they are not saying, like, okay, what can be done to fix the relationship? What can be done? And hear me out. This is why I say it's like, it's simple as God. It really is. Like, that shit, and I'm being honest, the shit probably sound corny to a lot of people. The shit probably sound whack to a lot of people. But I'm telling you, like, that's what it is. That's what I really think that's what it is. It's like we're in a lawless society at this point, right? Idol worship, you know, we love Sexy Red and all, you know, like, whatever. Like, so we had a, you know, Sexy Red is on the Breakfast Club. That's crazy to me. I thought that shit was a joke. I thought she was a joke, but now it's like, this is for real. We've let the media pimp us out to where Sexy Red is on the Breakfast Club, knowing that's one of the biggest platforms for black people. At a time it was, for sure. She on the Breakfast Club. Anyway, I digress. If that don't tell you that society is fucking lawless and godless and headed more and more in that direction, and you need to get your life right type stuff, and not to be the one to try to have that conversation with you, but hey, I'm throwing it out there for you, and if it makes sense to you, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you ain't got to thank me, thank the Lord, because he's trying to call you home. That's how I always said it. That's how I always seen it. So, but it's no God in, you know, modern relationships. You sit around and listen to the podcast, listen to all these relationship podcasts. What's that one, Tonight's Conversation? And everybody say this. oh, emotional intelligence, a man with emotional intelligence, a woman who submits, she needs a man like this, and the man has to be like that, and the woman has to do this, and the woman has to bring more than just a box to the table, and blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to want for yourself. You have to love yourself before I can really truly love you, shorty. You know, you need to be you know, you gotta be happy with yourself. A lot of the times, people are not happy with themselves. Like, it go on and on. It go on and on. Do they sound like that? Yeah, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. But you never hear. They never say nothing about God. They never say nothing about God. About God, 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 God. Just keep it a bean. Keep it 100. They never say anything about God. They never say, bro, you know what's the problem? Like, yeah, infidelity is the problem. Yes, one partner being lazy and don't wanna contribute to the relationship, or meet that other partner on equal footing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, you know, this person don't want to work, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, those are issues. But the underlying, the main issue, when you ask me, in my opinion, what I think, from my perspective, I feel that in a relationship, you got two people, and whether you want to take this back to equally yoked or nah, like, and for my Bible people who know, you know what I'm saying, you familiar with the term equally yoked. But if not, check it. So you got two people who believe in God, right? If you believe in God, you believe in your Bible, you believe you got those morals, right? Those biblical morals, just morals and values and principles in general, right? It's a certain way you move to where you don't treat the other person certain ways. Or like, so if I'm a woman, right? And I'm a godly woman. If I'm a woman and I'm a godly woman, I'm familiar with my word. You know, I'm in my spiritual, whatever you want to call it, right? So if that's me, that's the type of woman I am. Me getting with a man, me being with a man only because of his money and what he can do for me, right? Like, only because of his money, me saying, oh, if you broke, just say that type vibes, giving that kind of stuff. And I'm a city girl on the back end too. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I'm that type of woman, if I'm going to be that type of woman, that ain't no godly woman. Like, if I'm a godly woman, I'm not going to move like that. I'm not with this man just because of, oh, I seen that this man, I'm not going to follow him and let him lead me just because he all about money. And he got wads of cash. And he got a lot of money. You know why? You know why? Because check this out. I'm a godly woman, right? So therefore, I'm going to get with this man just because he got the bag, right? So I'm with this man. He got the bag, right? Check this out. We pull up at his friend's house. We go up in the room, whatever, He get to calling out all kind of weird stuff. Hey, I need you to sleep with my homeboy Bobby. I need you to sleep with my homeboy Terry. Let them you know, do these nasty things to you. Let them do these sexual things to you, right? Now, you might be his wife, or you might be his girlfriend. Y'all might be dating, whatever. But this man ruled and governed by money, right? Let's say, you know, like, my point is, if it's all about money, it's this thing of like lawlessness. It's this thing that's called lawlessness. You know what I mean? So if I'm governed by money, right? So you ain't really following the man. It ain't the man, right? You worried about, okay, so if this man got his money by doing all kind of goofy stuff, right? If he's just a crappy individual and he just, you know, no matter how he get his money, but let's say it's illegal, and he got to hurt people and do this and do that, you know, to get that money. And in order for you to be down, you know what I'm saying? He done made you do some fugazi stuff. He done made you do some shameful things. Take part in some shameful activity, some ungodly activity. You know what I mean? Things that a godly woman, a godly person wouldn't take part in. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. And right now I can't think of the absolute best example, but I feel like that's pretty clear. You know, I feel like that's understandable right now. You know what I mean? Because we all know, like they say, money is what? The root of all evil. So if a person approaching you on some, like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, how much money you got? You know, that's what's gonna sway me. That's what's gonna make me, you know, blah blah blah, woo woo woo. You know, like it's all about the money. It was never about you. You know, and so, but like I say, if you operate not the spirit, or got you on your got your life right with God tip, right? You want to be in that number type deal, right? You a godly person, right? Morals, values, belief system, right? Biblical principles and stuff. If you govern by that, if that's what you're governed by, you know, you just don't move like that. Trust me, I know the word. I know what it says. Might not seem like it sometimes, but trust and believe. I know what that book say. I ain't gonna say I know all of it. I wouldn't say that. But I know some stuff. You know what I mean? And it's a certain way you carry yourself. You know what I mean? Why? Because like that's what you study. That's what you try to implement to your daily life. You know what I mean? And like they say, like you are what you eat. You know, that's basically you are what you consume. So if you consuming and you walking with God on a daily basis, weekly basis, regularly, right? You gonna do some underhanded stuff. You gonna see that. You gonna be like, nah, that don't really sit right with my spirit. I can't do buddy like that. That's wrong. I can't do buddy like that. I can't treat buddy like that. When the dude be like, yeah, I got this money, this my girlfriend, this my old lady, I'm finna turn her out, I'm finna pimp her out, or I'm finna I'm finna get her to pull up in this room and let all the homies sleep with her, or I'm finna put her out there on the OnlyFans joint or whatever and pimp this whole situation out. When you a woman and you go to do that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm finna hop on this internet and do some of these things, tempt some of these brothers, tempt some of these men, hop on this OnlyFans. Like, believe it or not, I had a conversation with a young lady one day, and it's crazy. She was telling me, she was like, and I ain't judging, I ain't really judging her. Well, maybe I am, but that ain't the reason for me telling it. But it was crazy. Cause it was like she was just telling me like she probably was finna go that route, like on some, like she was hitting a hard time, a rough patch, and she was thinking about some like, I'm finna go down this OnlyFans route. And you know, her thing was, she was like, yo, you know, she was like, with the OnlyFans joint, she was like, yeah, I'm finna go down that route, but at the same time, like, she was talking Bible scripture talk with me. You know, me personally, I'm gonna keep it a bean. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable talking a lot of Bible talk. You know, when and if I'm like straight up, I know I'm knowingly fucked up. I'm knowingly like underhanded, whatever the case may be, sleeping with this man's wife, or in a marriage, in some type of relationship, and I'm just sleeping, sleeping on my wife, committing adultery, cheating, whatever it may be, um, abusing a parent, my mom, or some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. That can't. It's certain things that don't sit right with me. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna come at people on no Bible thumping tip. You know what I mean? But since we on the topic of God and relationships and stuff like that, I do feel like a lot of those relationships can change. A lot of those, scenario situations. But nah, like, I'm not. You know, you know, that's that's just what that is. But like I say, so getting back to the main topic of there is no God in relationships, in the modern day relationships. You never hear those people talk like that. You never hear them say, because two godly people getting together, they're gonna have service ahead of like everything else. So the whole submission tip, submit to a man and da 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 da, woody woody woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna submit to no man. I mean, okay, to each his own. You, please choose wisely as a woman. That ain't the main thing. That ain't the main thing I'm campaigning for right here. But find you a man that you feel like you would serve if marriage is your goal, right? Because in the Bible, look, I know what the Bible say. I know what it say in certain situations. The Bible say, he that find a wife, and I ain't gonna quote it like, he that findeth a wife or whatever, but he that finds a wife findeth him a good thing. So, I mean, hey, she gotta be worth a damn, I guess. I mean, she gotta be that, right? So as far as the wife finding a husband, I mean, it's plenty of suckers out here. I know there's plenty of brothers out here that's married somebody and but just certain things that a man was told. I'm a man, certain things you hear in manhood on this side of it is, a wife is one of the most important decisions that you can make. One of the most important decisions that you can make. Who you choose to be your wife. You know what I mean? What else they say? That's the best investment that you can make, right? Is who you choose to be your wife. And then, like I say, the other one, hey, man who findeth the wife findeth a good thing. So that ain't something that I feel like, I wouldn't want to get that wrong as a man. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, I know it's a lot of brothers that have married women and they might not be the best wife. I'm just going to leave it at that. Rather, I ain't got to go down all the situations. I ain't got to go down the path of, oh yeah, man, he married this woman and, she just with him for the money. She be cheating on him. Because like I say, yeah, we know it can happen both ways, but I'm talking out of traditional standpoint. The man, he works, he works to take care of his woman, his family, their family, and things of that nature. But, like I say, that I think that's the answer. That's the answer, so you want to study your, you want to show yourself approved, meaning you want to study the word, right? I feel like you want to study the word of God, because like, just look at it. Just look at what it is. Look at what it's like these days. You know what I mean? It's so many things out in the public that you can't tell me that these things are godly. Just being honest, just keeping it a bean, keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've been one to, like, every now and then I'm like, well, I ain't trying to get on Bible thumpers. I ain't trying to be on Bible thumper time or what, like screw a Bible thumper at this point. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with that? I mean, if a person is really like trying to live that, like, yeah, only them and God know if they really trying to live that life. I can get it if a person is they kind of portraying as like this godly, overly godly character. And, they go home and they beat up on their wife. They go home and they abuse their kids. They go home and, you know what I'm saying, they disrespect people in their families, and just they don't treat people the way they should, you know what I'm saying, based off the word. You know what I mean? So, but like, long story short, I believe that modern times, modern relationships, you know, all these podcasts that we done had, I done heard a bunch of them, I done listened to a bunch of the audio. It's no God in them. It's a lawless society. It's turning more and more into a lawless society. People are lost. People are all operating out of like selfishness. We all operating out of some type of greed and selfish, and like, I gotta get me at fuck the cost of the other person. I don't give a damn what happened with them. It's about me and mine, and it's no more service. God in the Bible, it speaks of service. It speaks of service. Acts of service. That's a love language too, I think. Ironically or whatever, but it speaks on service, acts of service, bro. Like, and what is service? Service also could be another definition for submissiveness, and I think it kind of go both ways. I'm not gonna get into the pissing contest over the woman should be submissive. It ain't no man to submit to. Blah 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 blah. Woody woody woo. Like, I'm gonna tell you like this, because it's a bunch of women that I done dealt with. Me being honest, straight up, whether a person believe this or not. And I probably got people who tuning in who feel like they know me and who feel like they know certain parts of me, right? But me being honest with myself, like, it's plenty of women that, I'm pretty sure it's plenty of women that people could have dated, right? Like, some women I couldn't date because I know a godly woman, when I look back and I think about it, a godly woman wouldn't have moved or wouldn't have done certain things or carried themselves in a certain way, So therefore, it was like, damn, although I might like this person, or I might want to deal with this person, date this person, I'm just gonna continue to kind of talk to this person. And that was just me. Now, is that the thing I should have did? And it can be argued, whatever. Somebody could probably make an argument for that, whatever. But the thing is, I knew, like, I was like, nah, like, I don't want my woman to do that kind of thing, because, and then it's like, but I've also had a more godly woman, right? And I can tell you like this, and this is kind of where my whole, like, this is where a big part of the idea of this all comes up at, right? Like, my ex was a godly. I would label my ex as a godly woman, right? And the reason I say that, it's more reasons than what I'm gonna say. But between me and my ex have been through a lot of stuff. I done screwed up. I done fucked up shit in our relationship, between the relationship of me and my ex, right? I've done messed up stuff. I've done messed up things. But some kind of way, still to this day, rather it be I needed some information on something, or I needed her to be resourceful in a way, rather it's if I absolutely positively, if I needed something financially, if I needed a meal, if I pulled up and I said, man, I need a meal, can I use your kitchen, whatever, right? If I needed something and she had it, she would give it to me. 9 times out of 10, I believe she would give it to me. And it's the same way with me. And I thought about that, and I thought to myself, why is it like that? And I feel like it's like that because although we've been through a lot of things together, right? That ain't no different from a marriage, I feel like. But we've been through a lot of things together. Right, wrong, she's pissed me off at times, and I pissed her off probably more than she pissed me off. Meaning, like, when I say that, I really say in terms of like the things that I've done probably sit heavier as they're deemed as heavier crimes, I would say, in a relationship between two people. So, you know what I'm saying? She might have, if she lied, I lied 20 times. I lied 15 times. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just an example on that. But, so I credit our relationship to both of us having godly, our relationship, I credit it to having a godly foundation. Like God has always been like what we were governed and built and founded upon. Like us as individuals. Even before we even got together, it wasn't like, oh, let me introduce you to God. Like her foundation, her upbringing, it was God. You know what I'm saying? Me, I was in the church. We both were in the church at a younger age. You know what I'm saying? Grew up, believed in God. I played drums. Wasn't the same church or any of that. But and me personally, I feel like I probably strayed away at times or got distant. And she probably had too. But it's a ground land. It's a line like at the bottom of it all. It's a bottom line that you kind of don't cross. You kind of don't go under that when I feel like you're governed by God, basically. So those type of people, it's a type of integrity. It might get tough, but hey, nah, I ain't gonna do that. That's some underhanded shit. Like a woman might say, nah, it's get tough, but nah, I just can't see myself selling my body. You know what I'm saying? A man may say, hey, like I done had that conversation with myself. Hey, I should do this and do that, pimp this out, sell these drugs, whatever, blah 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 blah. Manipulate this situation in some messed up way, some very messed up way in order to get what I want and to get ahead. You know what I mean? And I said no. That ain't what a person governed by God would do. That ain't what a godly person would do, type thing. So I feel like in service, if you striving to be that type of person, like you don't have no God in your relationships. So when things get tough, things get difficult, so forth and so on, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, shit. You sometimes you don't have the patience to deal with certain things. But like I say, from the start of it all, if certain godly people, if they're really trying to walk with God, they not gonna put you in certain situations. They're gonna protect you in a way that, my woman, man, she went off to the goddamn club. When I got to the club, she was sitting in the VIP with a whole bunch of such people, talking about, oh yeah, this and that and the third. She was all in VIP with the nigga, like Keke Palmer and Usher or some shit. Not saying that those are ungodly people. I can't speak for them people. I don't know them, whatever, da. So that ain't the conversation I'm trying to have. But, like I say, when you operate with that, and I'll be honest, and I'll go a step further. For instance, me, I'm a person that I've been known to cheat in my relationships for the most part, right? For like relationships that I've actually been in, I've been known to be a little, okay, damn, like, man, that's how you moving. You know what I'm saying? That shit is hard. It is freaking hard to be faithful. It is. It is. And I done came up with all kind of thoughts and excuses on what I think should happen in order for me to be faithful and move the right way and blah, 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 blah. Right? Haven't had a girlfriend in a long time, in years, you know. I've tried to date, but, you know, here nor there. So I have that on my record, right? He's cheated before. So with that being said, but like I feel like as a godly person, like I feel like I don't know, it's just one of them things that you try to understand. You know, you try to and you sit down, you had that discussion or you don't. You say, hey, I ain't gonna be able to deal with that, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I think when you govern by God, it's like I say, when it's other situations, like, oh, if it come to me being upset, not being able to control my emotions and put my hand on a woman, I'm not no wife beater. I'm not doing that. I'm not into that. You got some niggas who all of the above. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I might have had my fair share of, yeah, I stepped out at this time, I did this, and I ain't gonna lie, man, it was crazy. You know, it's crazy. So, but, you know, you got some people who step out, they do their dirt, then get confronted about it, and end up beating the woman up. Like, how messed up is that? The woman can't confront you about it because, you know, you're gonna beat her up because you highly over emotional. You know, you can't control your emotions. But that's kind of getting into another conversation a little bit. But like I say, it's certain situations that, like, if you're dealing with a godly woman, she ain't gonna put that brother or that person in certain situations because she's governed by God. You know what I mean? Getting her to do this and work with you on certain things not gonna be that hard because she got service at the top of her brain anyway. You know, she got working with you, y'all coming together to serve God, you know, as a unit. She got all that, you know, kind of at the front of her brain anyway. You know, a lot of these modern day relationships, that ain't what it is. It's more so, you know, I'm gonna get in this relationship to come up whatever way that I can come up, right? I'm gonna come up how I need to come up, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just that. Like, I'm gonna use you to come up and get what I need out of this situation, and you know, that's that. So you know, that's what I would say. That's my take on it. I'm gonna leave it right there. You know, so what you want to do is you want to deal with somebody. Look for that. Let's start with that. Like, as individuals, you know, in this modern society, I feel like we should get back to God. Yeah, I don't even see any God posts anymore. Like, you believe in God, if God has been good to you, just, you know what I'm saying? you know, which speaks to a whole lot of, I don't know, lawlessness and lost and all that, people being lost and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, like, look at how uncommon it is to, like, have a conversation about God. You know what I mean? Because everybody, yeah. Initially, people were like, "Oh, spread the good news." I'm trying to, you know, be pushy with it. Some God people and Christians, whatever you want to call them, they can be pushy at times, for sure. But, you know, I don't think this is that. I think this is, you know, just something that kind of needs to be, you know, inserted back into the society, I feel like. And if we can sit down and, you know, have a discussion about whatever it is, being honest, being vulnerable, because we all faking and lying about something probably at this point, or are keeping something hidden and information hidden and not saying anything about it, in terms of like, oh well, I don't want to put myself on blast. I don't want people to know that, hey, I did this, or I move like this, or I'm really, I really can't afford this, but I'm just out here on social media acting like, portraying this, you know what I mean? So I think, just that's what I would say. Like, hey, just when in terms of looking for a relationship, and I hope this is one of the last relationships kind of podcast that I got to do at sometime, but people, that's what it is. Like, try to make sure that your partner is governed by God. Like they believe in God, and that's their foundation, because that's what the Bible and God speaks on. Service. You know what I mean? And shit. When I go, hey, and that work both ways for the man and the woman. When the man say, hey baby, I'm trying to do this gonna help both of us in turn, whatever, this ain't nothing that's gonna help, that's gonna get you in trouble. This ain't nothing that's gonna get us in trouble. This ain't nothing that's gonna embarrass or make us look bad, have us under the bus or whatever. Oh yeah, sure. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with you, baby. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. When the woman says woo, I think this would be a great idea. You know what I'm saying? Shit, dude, where do women go to really practice being like, you know what I'm saying? Where do husbands go to really practice being great husbands? Or whatever. Shit, those can be some things we look into. But hey, everybody ain't perfect. I get it. It is what it is. You are in the chapter of your life that you are in. You know what I mean? But just when we dealing with relationships, I feel like put some God back into it. Try to make sure that person that you're dealing with is governed by God. Try to introduce them, to them if you familiar, because I feel like that's one of the things that we are called to do. Rather you want to say as Christians, spiritual beings, I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying? If it's dealing with God, I mean, I feel like that's a duty. That's a duty. That's a responsibility to try to tell somebody about the good news and about, how that can help you and be beneficial to you. So, yeah, kind of weed out all the selfishness and the me. If you broke, then just say that you ain't got it, type thing, and just try to incorporate, look for that godly foundation, the person that's governed by God, and the godly woman, the godly man, and obviously they got to be showing the walk. They got to walk, and in order for you to identify that they walking, and for you to identify that they are a godly, or they're governed by God and things of that nature, right? You got to know something for yourself. You got to know, so you know what it look like when they show it to you. You get what I'm saying? Like if he talking God with you, and then he get into it with his mama about motherfucking, he talking to his grandma, or talking to her all crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's what he want to do, and he want to put his hand on his sibling sister or his auntie or his drunk uncle. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's better ways. Things can be worked out. Yeah, we all got our thing. We all got our vices and shit, but certain things. I don't. Everything can't be written out as a vice. I don't think, but whatever. But I digress, and I hope everybody doing good. And y'all stay tuned for the next podcast, man. Hopefully I can get this thing rolling online, and on some YouTube, and I can see y'all get some more comments and stuff going, and just like I say, it ain't the biggest deal to me, because really I just be on here giving my perspective, my take, and I mean, if I could get paid for it, absolutely, for sure. But I really just be wanting to share my take, and you know, with people. And if it helps, that's what it's about. So, y'all have a good one. I'm out until next time. Peace.